So I grew up in Jasper, Indiana, small town. At that time, it's grown a lot since. Woodworking is a very big part of Jasper. In fact, my dad owned a woodworking factory. He was always creative with projects and things that he would do, but the factory made frames for chairs. And so they would send the chairs off and they would be upholstered by another company. And actually, you can buy those here in town. So Glidden Furniture sells best chair. Through high school, I really didn't take any art classes, didn't really fit in my schedule, but through elementary and middle, we would have visiting artists come. I remember a batik artist one time. I remember a weaving artist. It was really fun to be able to learn a new craft or learn a new type of art. So that was always fun. When I was in high school, I was like, where am I going to continue my career? I decided on Indiana State University. I knew that I needed that experience to leave home for a little bit, and I knew the size of ISU was perfect. So I love saying that I bleed blue or that I'm a Sycamore fan. So I received my degree in elementary education with a special education minor. And then I worked on, then I received my master's degree, worked on my principles, added that endorsement in the district level. I'm a curriculum coordinator for this Vigo County School Corporation. And so art is one of my 6 areas that I get to work with every day, the teachers in those areas. So not only English language arts, but I work with the art teachers as well. We were lucky that, and still to this day, we have art teachers in every one of our buildings. And so our students went to an art teacher one time a week, and then they could experience art with somebody that was trained in art. I'm involved in my church, St. Joseph University Parish. I think it's important having that connection. The University Parish really connects with Indiana State students, Rose Holman students, Ivy Tech, St. Mary of the Woods, to give them that experience. And so I like to give back in the ways of, being a Eucharistic minister or lecturing on occasion. Well, I was involved with the Swope for the last 10 years, being on the board because of my position in the school. So I'm sort of like an at-large member of the board. And with that, I'm representing the Vigo County School Corporation and actually representing all of our art teachers. Our art teachers play an integral part of the students' school experience. And so being able to take my knowledge of what they do K through 12, being on the education committee with the Swope, thinking about those preschool programs that the Swope has to offer with Art Start, thinking of the summer, thinking of the 6th Street Art Festival when we have a tent, thinking of the community event at the library. There's always something that the Swope can do to engage children, engage students, and letting them express themselves with art. And so what started out as an appointment has grown into 10 years of really enjoying my time on the Swope. I get to see a lot more than just the student art exhibition that happens every April and May. Seeing more than just the 5th grade tours, but seeing what the Swope has to offer to Indiana State students that come in, our high school students that can come and visit, the community that can visit, or our visitors to Terre Haute. And I think having all of those visitors come in, just to see what Terre Haute has. I think it's important to know, when we have that annual art exhibition, this is the 58th year that the students are able to have an exhibit of their own. And I think, they get excited knowing that they had a piece, whether it was when they were in kindergarten or 5th grade, or their senior project is able to be on display at the Swope. the fifth grade tours, we're able to capture over 1,000 students coming through in a short amount of time. 10 days of school visits that they're able to come in, have a tour that's led by a docent, and be able to learn about what we have here at the Swope. As always, the opening day of the student art exhibition is wonderful. This is a packed house. There are so many people here, so many parents and grandparents that are so proud of what their students have done in their art and being chosen. They were chosen either by the juror in the high school art part or by their art teacher as one of the entries for their school. I think when it first got here, the smell. I love the smell of the paint. I love the texture. When you look at it from the side, you see that it's not just a flat piece of artwork, but it's, has a lot of dimension. It reminds me of a lot of backyards. It reminds me of my grandparents' house where we probably had that exact webbing of a lawn chair, having, that table, the plants, the, everything that you just see. I just think it's a treasure to have here. I was absolutely flabbergasted, and so without words, like I am now. So it was just hard to, think, wow, I do this to give back, not expecting anything in return. And, so it's my contribution through my work to be involved with the fifth graders and with all of our students in the exhibition. So I feel like it's part of my everyday, but then, stepping out and doing more than just those two things. We have the big deal, and the big deal is a awesome fundraiser. And my favorite part actually is when it's my turn, I'll look and see if there's something that I want to purchase, but I love wrapping all of the artworks because I think, when you purchase something, you get, you take it home and, it's something that now you get to display. So wrapping it was always just as much fun. And so there's a lot of things that the Swope does as fundraisers that would interest many different people in the community. Whether you like, the Mardi Gras, whether you come for a special, all of the exhibit open houses or First Fridays. I think we're in a very exciting time. I think you can see a lot lighting-wise, things that have been changed with the boiler and the air conditioning and the temperature. But I think the community is going to be excited to see what is coming next. Between art storage, which will be there on the first floor, to a new elevator, to spaces that we can have. I think they'll really see some cool things that are going on. To me, that third floor, nothing better than a third floor with fun events. The Swope is an awesome place to come. Because I wouldn't be here without my art teachers. I think we have a wonderfully dedicated group of teachers that really want to bring out the creativity in their students, really want their students to be able to be, art reaches, maybe doesn't reach every single student. Some people might not feel, that they're artists, but I think an art teacher has a way of bringing that out. And that makes a huge, huge thing.